Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I think we've got all things covered with the three people here, by the way. So anybody watching, wherever you're watching this, we're blessed. We're spoiling everybody because we had Eric, game designer Eric Mounier, a couple of days ago, and was very kind enough to talk us through the game on his fantastic design, Harry Potter, and of course Harry Potter's on Jersey Jack, and we got Mr. Jersey Jack himself with us now. It's not his first time on the channel. Jack, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, we love it. You honour us by joining us for a podcast. And can I say you've been so reasonable with times and time zone. Jack's so cool. He said, "Hey, whatever time." Enzo's got the sniffles, and Jack said, "Enzo, don't stay up too late." So we're actually recording this a bit earlier. How are you feeling, Enzo?
I'm good. I'm good. It's I wouldn't miss it for the world. That's for sure.
Excellent. Excellent. Jack, how was the last? You said you've not been getting much sleep. That's clear since our text exchange earlier must have been very early in the morning for you. Busy few weeks, mate.
I live for it. This is what we do. It's we don't run a marathon. We don't run a sprint. We run a marathon. That's what we do. And now is just the starting line because now is sales of the game, building the game, shipping the game, supporting the game, promoting the game, taking the game all over the world, letting everybody see what we did for the last couple of years, and it's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. And most people don't think I sleep, but I do sleep.
Yeah, it can't be much.
Maybe not enough. Maybe not enough, but I sleep.
Definitely not. So last time not we spoke, but last time we spoke on camera, I asked you if you knew what your next game was, and you said to me, "I know what my next three games are."
Right.
How long have you had this in the bag then, Harry Potter?
Since about May of 23.
Yeah, yeah. As
May
it
of 23.
and how do you feel the response has been? I don't know, 3-4 days into the release and the announcement.
Well, we've sold hundreds of games. People are searching for something bad to say about the game. They haven't seen it or got their hands on it, played it, heard it, but they form opinions, and I respect that. People do that in the world today. I'm thrilled. I don't think it could have gone better. The way the rollout went. Every time you launch a game, it's different. However you plan it, it's something's going to go right and something's going to go different. I don't think any publicity could be wrong. But you know, people have advice, and we listen to everybody. But I had to do all the talking for the game until now. Now I could shut up and let the game do all the talking now.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been really, really well received. And yeah, you're right. There will always be, advice and criticism, but I think with this release, less so than most games that I can remember being released in recent times. I also want to say congratulations and a big thank you from certainly from us over here in the UK, because we feel, I think to a certain extent, because it's so big in the US, and I've got to say this now, Jack is flying over here next week. We're going to see Jack. We're going to sit down with Jack. We're going to have dinner. And we feel like it's so dominated by the US. In many respects in Europe, you can feel a little bit like second-class citizens. I'm sure Enzo's going to say the same over in Australia there. And often when games get released, we see them weeks later. So I've got to say a big thank you, because ours is already here now. I'm going to go and play it tomorrow. I'll be reporting back on this channel, of course. And is that really a massive concerted effort for you to think, do you know what? We're just going to get games around. We're going to get them out globally, and we're going to get them out all at the same time, because I think it's a massive success and massively important to the rest of us that are not in the US.
It is. Every market is important to us. Every person that plays our games is important to us. Christoph, there was a show this past weekend in France. I made sure he had a game there. So he was very happy. He was the first one with a game. Somebody's got to be first. Then I had other distributors say, how come he got a game? Because you didn't pick up yours. That's why. It's here. It's here. Take it. So we support all our distributors, and we try to support them all equally. Even the little guys that sell less, we try to give them incentives. so that they become bigger. From tiny acorns grow the mighty oaks. You got to start somewhere. So
It's true. It's true. There's one just
treat
there's one just
everybody
there actually. Yeah.
treat everybody the same. The golden rule.
Well, when you release again, it seems this way. This is my perception at least. You release the game, so we got sort of teaser trailer, or little teasers where it was popping up on the screen of other games. Your main
Right.
trailer, your featurette, and then gameplay. That at least that's the order that I remember it being in. I think what's great is you have the games ready to go. Is that a concerted effort? Because it's not like you release the trailer and then we're waiting a month or 2 months for the game. It's a case of this is your next game, and you can go, as you say, go and pick them up now.
We're a real company. When we were trying to stand up the company, we did the best we could then, but now we're at a different level. And it is important to keep the momentum going, and this is the first time we built CE games first. I wanted to build them first because I wanted to show off the CE. I wanted all our distributors to get a CE. And the other part of it was, if you buy a first class airline ticket, you don't get on the plane last. You get on the plane first. So I wanted to pay a little bit more respect to the CE buyer. Not that the arcade or the wizard buyer is not important, but I wanted to change things up. We like to do some different things now and then.
Do you know? I mean, that is a really, really important thing because yes, your top level machine are the machines that have obviously not just gone out to customers first, but that's what I'm playing tomorrow. That's all of the initial machines that have gone out to people as I know they're not test machines as such, but those initial machines that have gone out hands on, they're all CE. So people's first impression of the game is going to be the top model, which I think is magnificent. So before Enzo comes in, as I know he's got a ton of questions, can you just talk us through, please, Jack? So again, I think it's another really good thing: arcade, wizard, or limited edition, and then your CE, which is your collector's edition. All the playfields are the same. All the mechanisms are the same. We did ask Eric this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What was the thinking behind that process?
I didn't want anybody that wanted a Harry Potter game not to be able to get one. It was pretty much that simple. And I didn't feel that, even when we did Wizard of Oz, my philosophy was change the bling and leave the playfield and all the toys and the rules alone. Leave all that stuff alone. Don't take an upper playfield. Don't take a toy. Don't take targets. Not the same game. Plus, you got to program it differently. Plus, in the factory, when you're building it, you got this playfield for this playfield for this playfield for this. This way, really, there's only two playfields. There's one playfield for the wizard and the arcade, and there's one playfield for the CE because it's got sparkle on it. That's the difference. So it makes manufacturing easy. It makes ordering parts easier, controlling the parts. So all around, you try to hit everything where you get a win-win on the whole circle of things.
We got some background music there. Is that you, Enzo?
No, I don't know. Might have been.
One of my laptops just decided to start up.
Well, I think it's a really, really excellent thing. So I hadn't even considered manufacturing. Actually, yes, you're about programming each model. Yeah, that's got to make things streamlined as well. But I think it would have been. It's great to see everything have the staircase and just.
You couldn't take that out of the game.
No.
Well,
take the staircase
you could, but you didn't, and I think that's the important thing. Enzo, 2 or 3 days in since 2 days since I spoke to Eric. What additional things have you noticed about the game? Because you were crafty, you spotted that captive ball on the upper playfield, on the Quidditch playfield.
Yeah, there's so much to kind of experience and find. And actually, Eric and myself tomorrow, or his tomorrow night and my tomorrow morning, we're going to go deep dive on the playfield. We're going to have a chat together and go through the playfield because there are so many ball parts and so many things that this game does that I'm sure a lot of people haven't gone through it all. I wanted to kind of ask Jack, like, start right at the beginning. Like, how long have you been trying to get this license? And was it because Eric came to you because it's his dream theme, or did you already go to Eric and you guys had the same kind of idea? Like, where did it all begin?
I'd like to say that, but no, not really. I wanted the license back in pretty much when I started the company. 2011, 2012. And, it's like wanting to fly to Mars and you don't have even an idea how to build a spaceship. I'm dreaming things that are not going to come true for a long time. And you have to have a lot of patience and a lot of energy not to get really sidetracked from your goal. And Warner Brothers, basically, they're a great partner. We started the company with them, and we're continuing with them. We'll do more themes with them. So when I asked for it, I was told it's not available in our category. All these different IP holders have different categories, like Halloween costumes and lunchboxes and T-shirts and different things like that. They have different price structure, fee structure for royalties. So they weren't licensing anything for amusement games, not our category. I try next year. I was told, don't ask again by certain people there. And then I made a phone call to my person at Warner Brothers in February of 23. And she said, you're in luck. There are people here today. The IP holders are here. They're on a trip. And they actually played the Hobbit machine. And I think they're interested in doing a pinball machine with you. They actually said, if you could get the company that did this game to do Harry Potter, we're in. And I just luckily called that day. I know Eric said they called me. I wish the fish would jump in the bucket, but that's not the case. I just happened to, it was like meant to be. It was one of those things that meant to be. And really, how I win licenses, it's because of the product we make. The licensed people, they're not all about money. They're about who's going to represent their IP, because this is a big, breathing, living thing. When we did the Elton John game, Elton John said they captured my DNA in that game. We really got it because we immerse ourselves in everything involved with the theme, and it's really important. And they were a great partner the whole way through. Everybody, no complaints about anything. It was a really good experience.
Yeah, I think it's. Sorry, Enzo, you were going to say something?
No, it's just I was saying because, obviously with Harry Potter, it's all about magic, and it's you must have you've obviously created magic because it's been an overwhelming response, and I'm hearing it's doing some record numbers. At what point, like in the development, where obviously you see the game, the white wood and the design, but at what point do you think it was at that time when you kind of felt, yeah, we've got something really special here, regardless of IP? You already knew that because you were doing Harry Potter.
Right. A couple months ago, first of all, Eric had some different ideas for the game that didn't make it to the game because there was no time to test them. So the game went through many iterations, as games do. And he's got to get the geometry right, get the flow right. When he started the game, I said, I want it to be three things: fun, fast, flow. Those three things. Okay? And he did those things. He made the fastest, best flowing game that he's made so far. Steve Ritchie is known as the king of flow. I don't know that Steve told Eric what to do. I don't think so, because they're friends and they compete, but we're one company and we want to make the company do great things. And, I think I knew when the first 10 pre-production games were built and we were going through them and I was playing them, and I just said to Eric, I said, you have a great game here. You have a really great game here. And he was like not feeling it because he's in the middle of everything. He puts a lot of pressure on himself. Other people put pressure on him too. The guy's working a million hours. Joe Katz didn't have a day off in like a year and a half. I think this past weekend he took a day off. These people, it's not about the money. It's about the pride they have in making a great product and sharing the fun with everybody else. And they come through. I mean, the people in the company are amazing because, Eric doesn't do it by himself. I don't do it by myself, but it's a team effort, really.
But that comes across particularly in the featurette. You mentioned you run out of time, or Eric ran out of time. What is that? Is that a case of a manufacturing deadline, or you have a certain amount of time with the license to do it?
Well, you have both of those, but that's not really what I meant. If you have a feature in the game, it needs to add more than just technology. It needs to add fun. It has to fit into the game. So sometimes you have an idea for something and you try it and you try it, you try it. You want to love it. You want to love it. You want to love it. Steve Ritchie has a saying, if 3 people say something's no good, it's no good. So you might think the baby's beautiful because you thought of it, but other people look at it and see the baby's not that beautiful. Maybe we should take that out of the game. So there's always those things in pinball. But other companies do that and they do it for cost. We do it for fun. We don't build games with a calculator. We build games with passion.
And I think there's an element there because obviously, I mean, I say this even in my line of work, what we do, we create an experience, right? And if those
I was just
elements
going to say that. That's exactly right.
yeah, they're not creating an experience that can't be in the game, So, but there's an element of the thing with an IP like this, and even Elton John and things like Taylor Swift and all these other IPs, where there's an element that these IPs can bring a whole new community to pinball. Because to this day, I still meet people that go, do they still make those pinball machines?
Right.
And there's obviously this wizarding world, and a massive fan base of Harry Potter fanatics
Right.
that now will find out that there's a pinball machine. That must add like an immense amount of pressure to get that kind of creative and emotional process right, not just to please pinball players, but also this new demographic of wizard, fanatics.
Right.
That must be a lot for you guys to take in.
It's a lot of fun to do that. I try to, when we do these things, I'm very mindful of people that are outside of pinball, bringing them in. I think The Godfather brought people in that never bought pinball machines. Elton John certainly did. The Wizard of Oz in the beginning brought women and girls and young people because of the screen and what it was. Every one of our games expands the player base by something. And when you get big IP, and let's face it, Toy Story is not little, and Pirates of the Caribbean is not little, and Willy Wonka, all the titles we've done, Avatar, they're all big IP. You want to hit the biggest market you can, and there's millions and millions and millions of Harry Potter fans, and a lot of them are buying the game. They are buying the game, and we could get into it, but that's one of the reasons why having a feature like the Jersey Jack Pinball Game Changer, right? It really feeds into new players, because what that is the key fobs or the QR codes on the screen. You can take a picture of the QR code and hold it up to the camera, and the game plays easy, normal, or wizard. And those are the words Joe Katz picked, and he and Duncan Brown made another one of my dreams come true. I wanted to do that 15 years ago, and we couldn't do it. We could barely build games. We're lucky. So it was one of those things, like I had the idea for a camera in a game many, many years ago, and we were able to do it with dialed in. It's truly a game changer, because if you're really great, maybe I play easy, maybe you play normal, or somebody plays wizard. Gives you a lot of options, and it lasts for one player and one game, and then you got to do it again. So pretty cool. Something that only we could do.
Well, I think it's impressive, and I learned a lot just speaking to Eric about it. And there was actually a question, because I think possibly you even answered it there. Presumably you couldn't do it before because of the technology, even though you had the idea 15 years ago. Does that mean you won't be able to make it backwards compatible on older games?
I think we can.
Right.
We can. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have to actually, for Wizard of Oz and Hobbit, we'd have to put a camera kit together with a new back glass. But pretty much anything's possible. It just depends on what we dedicate resources to. And when those teasers came out and when the trailer came out, we pushed them out to thousands of games that we have that are connected to us online. So people came home and they looked and they saw on their Avatar game, they saw Harry Potter. What the heck?
That was a neat. Whose idea was that, Jack?
Eric, I think.
Yeah, neat. Really neat marketing. Right, and you know, I guess it gives the teaser trailer, the initial teaser, to your existing customers.
Well, you played Data East, Rocky and Bullwinkle, or something, or Data East, Jurassic Park, and it had an advertisement for Rocky and Bullwinkle on the screen.
Okay.
So it's kind of been done before, but not to this level.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was very, 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 very impressive, actually. And just a different way of doing things. And I think I did speak to Eric about this. Your initial video, is it purpose? Are you doing it on purpose that you don't focus the camera too much on one thing? Are you trying to keep people wanting more? That's on purpose, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like when I was in Texas and Stefan asked me, "What's your next game?" and I said, "Well, everybody knows the next game's Harry Potter." And I just said it just like that, and people thought I lost my mind, or I'm getting too old, or I didn't mean to say that, or walk Jack away to the old age home. And then when I said, "Well, if I were you, I wouldn't spend any money on anything until you see Harry Potter. It's like a Wizard of Oz experience, something there to that fact." And people on podcasts in different places said, "Oh my God, he just killed all the sales for his game. Poor Mark Seiden is sitting next to him, and his Avatar is not going to sell." Avatar sells very well. The people that want Avatar buy Avatar. They buy all kinds of games. We didn't kill anything. It was all on purpose. I didn't have a game at the show, and unfortunately, I want to be talked about. So I want to be part of the conversation. So I was certainly part of the conversation, and I really think, from talking to a lot of distributors and customers and people in the industry, at 11:59 last Thursday, pinball sales was pretty glum. But by 12:05 the same day, all the world got turned upside down. People couldn't answer their phone because they were taking so many orders. And I don't say that, I'm like being smug about it or anything. I'm very humble about it. I appreciate it. We're thankful. We're very blessed. But we worked very hard. So we're happy that everybody likes it. Just about everybody likes it.
Well, yeah, you'll never please everybody, but as I say, having done this for a little while now, I've seen plenty of games get released, and they all get praise and they all get criticism, and it's just varying degrees of what's praise and what's criticism. By and large, and I totally understand Eric doesn't want to go on forums and on Pinside and read comments. You couldn't, because you can get swamped by that stuff. But I would say 95% of of the feedback on this has been really, really positive. And I don't want to say too much about it because I'm going to play it tomorrow, and otherwise I just become one of those guys talking about it and I haven't played it.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, it looks like an occasion. I said it, and I think I said it to Eric. I looked at it, I thought, that's not a pinball machine, that's an event. That's an occasion. And I was very lucky. The first time I ever played Hobbit, it was on video. My first ever game on Hobbit. I'd never seen Hobbit before. And I just thought it was incredible. I felt in the world. Put it that way. It really drew me in. And when Schmaug came across, and it was the Schmaug multi-ball, and I had a big grin on my face. And I do think you've got that with your machines. It's not, I don't think World Under Glass is the right term, but I think it is an event and it is an occasion. So yeah, I just got to congratulate you on that. Enzo, sorry, I've been hogging.
Thank
No. I wanted to touch on that, your little thing at Texas, because it was funny where, like, you're right. I was going to say everyone thought you lost your mind, right? And I was like, well, no. At the end of the day, they didn't have a game there, and they asked a question, and there is always this element of secrecy in the pinball, but obviously things eventually people find out, and like you said, everyone knew, so we might as well just say it is that game, and it was a good publicity stunt, and I think it worked, and we had everyone talking, and I did feel sorry for Mark at that point a little bit, just because I really like Mark. Me and him get along really well. We talk all the time, and I think Avatar. I haven't played Harry Potter yet, but Avatar is my favorite JJP game, and I think a lot of people didn't get to play Avatar because obviously it was only really at Expo and then Pinball at the Beach, and I think that game probably just suffered a little bit of bad timing, and the IP is not for everyone. But I genuinely think Mark Seiden's a genius when it comes to what he's created there, and I'm really looking forward to what he's doing next. So
Mark's skin got a lot thicker since he became a professional game designer. Mark is really a great part of the team. I love him, and he's very diligent, and he knows what a good game is. And when you go back to Texas, because you mentioned it, looking in hindsight, I wasn't so crazy, I guess, huh?
No.
No, and you know what you're doing with marketing. Clearly, JJP is a very, very successful company. So yeah, you're going to do what you're going to do, and you're making really, really good pinball machines. I actually had a question for you with regard to Mark and regard to Steve. So when we spoke last, when on an interview, you knew your next 3 games. Since then, we've got Avatar and we've got Harry Potter. Do you still know your next 3 games?
Well, Steve's working on a game. That's one. Mark's working on a game, and I have Eric's next game.
There you go. So you're three ahead. So is it Steve next, then Mark, then Eric? If all goes to plan, yeah. Okay. And
Steve's game might be in 3 years when we're done building Harry Potter. Who knows?
Yeah, I did hear actually. Somebody said you're not in a rush. You're not in a rush to get your next game.
We're never in a rush because we don't make any deadlines and we don't make any budgets. So unfortunately, the company rolls how it rolls, and a lot of things are out of our hands. Delays happen, parts don't come in, or parts don't come in right, or this happens, that happens. It's pinball. That's what it is. It's just like playing a game. It's the same thing running a company. Things happen, and you got to anticipate some of them, and you can prepare for some of them. You can't prepare for some of them at all. And I think for us, it was a happy delay when we announced our game, because there was nothing really against us. The economy improved, the stock market improved, people's attitudes improved. Back in April, around April 8th, 9th, it was not a good world. It wasn't a good world, and it wasn't a good time to try to sell something. So things work out. I always say it's never a bad time to introduce a great game. Our games make their own market. They're really market makers, not share takers. They make their own market.
Right, it's going to look like we're editing this to edit things out. We're really not. We've got a few technical difficulties. That's all that's happening. So I was just asking Jack if Steve, if Mark, and Eric know the next themes they're working on.
Yes. You want to know what they are?
You're not going to tell me.
No, I'm not going to tell you. But you want to know what they are, right?
Of course, I want to know, but you're not going to tell me. I'm not.
It's nice to want. So you'll find out.
Thank you.
It's interesting though, Jack, that I used to be more involved in the video game scene, and with video games we know for many years what video games are. There's no secrecy like there is in pinball, and it's so interesting to see the other side. And I think the Hogwarts video game probably played an element. The success of that open world video game must have played an element, obviously, as well, to the Warner Brothers going, we should maybe work on more video game and arcades and pinball machines.
Well, in the commercial side of the industry, nobody ever did Toy Story. Nobody did Willy Wonka. Nobody did Harry Potter. I don't think anybody did The Hobbit. And Wizard of Oz, that was the first one. So now the industry has a bunch of Wizard of Oz games, different type of games, redemption games. But those kind of licenses, they're difficult to navigate for a lot of people. For us, we just take it in stride and we do what we do.
Okay, Jack. So we've got the CEs now. When are the others going into production? Because people are going to want to know if they're ordering an arcade or they're ordering a Wizard and a limited edition. When can those be looking at going into production?
In the next couple weeks.
Wow.
So we're going to switch around between the three models. We certainly have plenty of orders for all three models. And the good thing is, it's not up to me to decide what goes where. So,
Who decides?
Well, the people in the factory decide, because it depends on parts, it depends on people, and it depends on what you need for European orders, Australian orders, things like that. What's going to be built for who? It's a dance, and Jen, my daughter Jen, is certainly in the middle of the whole thing because she's dealing with all the customers, and everybody wants their game tomorrow. And it's kind of like this is kind of like the Wizard of Oz all over again.
Really?
Everybody wanted, yeah.
Is that you're feeling you're feeling the same amount of hype and interest going back to that? Are you?
Yeah, I think the distributor reaction has been amazing, and somebody would have thought a month ago that there's no money in the market to buy a pinball machine, because if you ask the average person that don't know about a pinball machine, they might think the games are $500 each or something like that. But maybe you were buying 3 pinball machines a couple of years ago, a year, and then you were buying 2, and maybe this year you're only buying 1. And the one you want to buy is Harry Potter. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing distributors saying a lot of trade-ins are coming in on the Wizard and the arcade edition. The collector edition, people that have collector editions want to keep their collections going. Hence collector edition. They want to stay with it. They want to keep the same game number and everything. They have sentimental value to that. So we couldn't be more happy, really.
Yeah, well, I should probably. That's a really good time to point out that channel sponsor, Pinball Heaven. They also do accept trade-ins, finance, all that stuff. So go and give them a call. Link is in the description below on that one. I totally agree with what you say about maybe it's just that one game that people are getting now. And I do think it's a must-have game. I did see somebody had a full line of JJPs. It was before this had been released. And then they were saying they were getting a CE, and it did. All your games all lined up together do look highly impressive. And everybody knows the story that Wizard of Oz was a game changer, and the way you sort of, I think you dragged pinball forward in terms of the screen, and I just think it's absolutely magnificent. I can't wait to play it, Jack. Really can't. Before we wrap this up, because I'll be sitting down with Jack. We've had a few technical difficulties today. I'll be seeing Jack next week or in 8-9 days. We'll sit down with Jack. We will talk with Jack in and around the machine. So we'll be back with some more stuff. I'll be doing another video on the game myself. Hopefully tomorrow, if not at least a day later, because I've got to edit it and whatnot. People will ask about the code. The code seems really developed already. Really, really good. That's something that's going to carry on being updated and working on as quickly as you can.
We're not finished. We're not finished. Joe and the team are working diligently on it, and it's not a box of lights, that's for sure. I mean, it's a full game right now. And David Thiel did his presentation. He did the sound, and I think he said it was like doing 3 Hobbit games. I mean, he wrote 120 songs for this game, so you can't get a better sound guy than David. Everything we did. I mean, Mark Silk with all the voice characterizations, and I mean, we didn't cheap out on anything.
No. You can see that.
I think there's an interesting to touch on what you were saying before as well, Chris, is that there's an element, and I've said this, I think a video we did maybe a year ago, I touched on nostalgia as probably one of the most powerful things in pinball, where I think if you made a Fifth Element pinball machine, a Matrix pinball machine, a Top Gun pinball machine, and a Rocky pinball machine, that you would sell out like Harry Potter would sell out possibly, because those elements of IP are emotionally driven at a time where we as humans lived in the 80s and 90s, where life was simpler, everything was a bit more impactful, and we cherish those memories. And it was a different world back then. And I think the strength of nostalgia aligned with a really special IP is what I feel companies should focus on.
Right. You're right.
That's always been my opinion. But
you're right. And the other piece of that is you need to make a great game to back it up,
of course,
because you could have great IP with with a game that's not great, or sometimes you get a great game with no IP or almost no IP, and they're fun to play. I mean, the fun factor is the thing that wins out. That's the first thing. It's got to be fun and challenging enough to have people come back and want to play it again.
Yeah, no,
Not frustrating, but challenging.
Yeah.
Yes, you've got to give something. But it was actually what was really interesting how Eric was describing how if you are struggling with the game, I think you've covered this from two angles. So you've got the game changer, which is obviously the scanning it, but also he said if you're struggling with the game, it will get incrementally easier. It will get used to you playing, so it will bring the wizard mode closer to you. That just a really smart thing to do with modern technology, I think.
If you didn't get up to the Quidditch, the upper playfield, it'll put you there.
Really?
Yep. The house will turn, the staircase will turn, and it'll put you there.
I like that. I'm looking forward. I think I'm looking forward to that bit the most, the Quidditch bit. I can't. I don't know why. I'm just looking forward to that.
It looks addictive.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does.
I love my game. It's great. I play it a lot, and you know, I was looking for problems, and I can't find any problems right now. You know, a few weeks ago, a few months ago, yeah, there was some issues here and there, but they're all taken care of. Eric and the team took care of everything.
And to be fair to you, Jack, when I saw you as well, because this may be something that people won't necessarily see. When I saw you, you were playing a lot of pinball machines, not just your own, other people's pinball machines, and you were playing all of them, and you were very kind and very generous to everybody else's pinball machines as well, because you understand what it takes to make one.
If you're gonna do this, I give my hats off to you, because it's not easy to do this. We know that, right? I mean, there's been a lot of companies littered in the rubble of trying to go down the road. But I think everybody doing it, they have a passion for pinball and they want to make something great, and they have their own dreams. And I respect that. I respect that a lot. And that's what makes it a great segment of the industry, hobby. Because I have a life on the commercial side of the industry and I have a life on the consumer side of the industry, and they have different things they're interested in. The commercial guys, the operator in me just wants the bill acceptor and a cash box to fill up, and they want something to make that happen. And the home customers want something to entertain them and amuse them, and they want the experience. So that's what we tried to provide, something for everybody. That's why there's 3 models now.
Well, I cannot wait to play, well, the CE, but I do have a feeling that even if I was playing the arcade, I'm getting the same experience. But I've got to play it first to see that. But I really admire what you've done there by not stripping. Well, you've just stripped some bling out basically, and the game inherently is the same. And all the playfield stuff's there. I think so. Congratulations, Jack.
Thank you. On behalf of the company, I say thank you.
Well, no, thank you on the behalf of the pinball world. Thank you for producing another game. It's competition is good, and this is a really, really, really great IP. And there's a lot of people. I will say something actually. So I was going to finish then. My friend Paul, who goes by the name of on the online forum of Silver Paolo, he is a huge Harry Potter fan, and he was saying to me, because the rumors go on for months in advance that you've got Harry Potter, and some of the IPs that Enzo mentioned about 5 minutes ago, people will say that you've got one of those is going to be your next game as well. But when sorry,
that Enzo,
I know.
I didn't really think about that, but hey, okay.
Well, yeah, I thought about it, and so will everybody else watching the video, but. Paul was saying, as a Potter fan, he was so pleased. He had these tick boxes that he had. Is the game going to feature this? Is the game going to feature this? And he said everything that he wanted to be in there was in there, and that's coming from a Potter fan. And he said that to me privately on the phone yesterday. And and another friend of mine, very, very good player, Craig, a very good player here in the UK. He is absolutely stoked for this game. And he was a reader of the books before the films, and he loved the art package on the CE. And again, he had some concerns about this game, and he said after listening to Eric speak, so many of his concerns sort of faded away and sort of melted away. So it's just two really, good pinball people that I've spoken to are just so excited about this game. So I'm going to play it tomorrow, Jack, and I'll be seeing you next week, sir.
Great. That's great. Have fun. I know you're going to love it, but I'm not going to ruin anything for you. I would say have somebody take video of you as you play your first game, because you're going to get some funny reactions.
I've got 4 cameras here. Don't worry. I've got
All right.
the tripods here. I'm getting everything ready. I'm packing up, and I'm
All
heading
right,
off
great.
in the morning.
That's
Thanks
great.
so much, Jack. Enzo, get to
Thank you
bed.
very much.
He doesn't feel very well, Enzo. Get to bed. I'll speak to you soon. As for everybody else, don't forget to like and subscribe the video. Subscribe. Press the bell as well. If you're not subscribed, press that bell. Ding that bell. You get a notification when we upload, which can be really important because tomorrow I'm going to be uploading a video of me playing Harry Potter Pinball.